street. Can you hear me? Wake up from your sleep, come stand with me. Whoa, we're changing the world. Can you hear our voices breaking through? There's a fire in our hearts seeking truth. Oh, we're changing the world.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is our time. We're changing the world. I'm your girl, Jeanette Smith, certified life strategist and mindset coach. I'm always excited to get with you on these morning broadcasts as we move from mindset to purpose to devotional to life unscripted, back to coaching, all in an effort to help you have all the tools you need to make better decisions for better living. We are absolutely going to change the world. Good morning, Michael. Good to see you. Yes, Seth. Anatomy of a Dream. We're going to get into it today. And I'm going to go into a specific area because I started thinking about it last night as we started talking about or I started working on this thing about what would I bring to you today in terms of the anatomy of the dream. We started last week, you'll remember, Jennifer joined us, Dr. Jennifer, and she shared her testimony of, going from a place of darkness and not really understanding her purpose or seeing her purpose and moving into being able to fully operate in it and grab it. Hey, Andre, how are you doing? Good to see you. Thank you. Thank you for your kind words. Appreciate you. Yes, that's what's up. That's what it's all about. And I'm going to tell you today, you're going to be excited because I'm actually going to focus on something I call the big fat why. The big fat why. Yep, the big fat why. And before I get to that, I want to go ahead and invite you all to share and to spread this word out there, get this out into the ethos, get it out there into the atmosphere across Facebook. Hey, Facebook family, love you all so much. Hey, YouTubers, hope that you are already a subscriber. If not, please do subscribe. And Periscope, I see you on Periscope over there. Don't forget to tap me out those beautiful hearts, because I like them when they kiss my cheeks. And it gives me the energy to know that you all are with me and we're all doing this thing together. Before we get into today's session, let me just share. Some of you may have seen in my profile this t-shirt, I Will Breathe, for those who couldn't. Let me tell you the story behind this. So, we're in this big race discussion in our country, and I'm just going to stand up for a minute. We're in this race discussion in our country, and many of us kind of, we're trying to have conversations with our friends and maybe those on opposing viewpoints on social media. Maybe some of you are out there protesting to call attention to what's going on and the inequality that people of color still suffer. And, not to be confused with rioting. Let's never throw rioting and protesters, peaceful protesting, in the same category. It's not. And there's plenty of things that are going on. Now, I have gone out to support protesters because I live in downtown Baltimore. They're all around me. I have not marched because my marching ground is on this platform. This is where I come and we talk to you about your implicit biases. This is where I come and we talk to you about how to have the hard conversations. This is the platform. This is the marching ground where I come and I bring you therapists and common people of all racial backgrounds and upbringings. And we talk about how to talk so people will listen and how to listen so people will talk. This is where I do my work, but I still wanted to support. And if you're like me and you still want to support the people that are helping bring the national focus and spotlight and keeping it on racial inequality, then you're like me. I want to support them. So there is a fund, a national fund, bailout fund for protesters, peaceful protesters who are out just protesting and for whatever reason they get locked up because they sat down on the sidewalk, because they didn't move fast enough, whatever, because that happens. This is nothing new. We've seen it through civil rights, women's rights, the Boston Tea Party, right? We understand what protesting brings. So this was the shirt I designed. I Will Breathe, for those who couldn't. And I'm putting the link in the comments. It'll also be in the byline. And the proceeds I'm sending out to support that national bailout program. So if you're interested in that, that's where it is. And that way we can be in a philanthropic effort together to have some kind of support for the work and the movement that's happening beyond our own reach. You don't have to be everywhere all the time, but you do have resources, and we do have ways of connecting up and helping support things that are making a difference for our lives. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. So today, we're going to talk about your big fat why. Your big fat why. Jeanette, what are you talking about? I'm talking about your big fat why. Why am I talking about your big fat why? Now, that's a good question, because I realized that as we continue talking about dream building, and we continue to try to get you from dream to reality, navigating the path of your life purpose, you can't be in purpose if you don't have your why in place. And so I thought, okay, today what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through a couple of things, because I believe that once you see this, I believe that once I kind of walk you pace by pace, piece by piece, it's going to start clicking for you that maybe the reason you haven't gotten the success you wanted, or maybe the reason you haven't built that dream the way you wanted. Yeah, you like that? The big fat why is because you don't know what your big fat why is. You got to know your big fat why. You got to know it. So let me just share a little bit of my story for those of you who aren't aware. I started in news, and my big fat why was because I wanted to be able to give people a service, to provide for my community, and give people an understanding about what was impacting their world, and not only impacting their world, but why and how they could be a part of changing that. And so for me, I spent 30 plus years in the news industry, and I was a rebel. It worked for who I authentically was. I did me, and thank God I did it pretty well. I got Emmy Awards, Aurora Awards, Telly Awards, and then I went into the entertainment industry. So that's when you see some of those things there, the DIY Network, HGTV. And then I repositioned again there and did very well, still operating in my purpose. Meanwhile, I began flowing into helping ministries after 9/11. And so I was the executive producer for Creflo Dollar Ministries for 7 years. It was we had the #1 Christian broadcast that went into 1.2 billion homes around the world. And I was responsible for all of that, creating and packaging that content and helping shape messages of hope. And then it happened, and I had another purposeful redirection, because I was downsized. Like many of you remember in the economy of 2007, I was downsized. And so I had to, figure that out. I went back to school because I didn't finish my degree. Can you believe that? In college, my career in news took off to the degree that I either had to ride that wave or stay in school. And that was the one time when I said, I'm only going to school to become successful in news. And so I rode that wave because I understood what my big fat why was. And so following that wave, I had a great career, but when I got downsized, I said, I need to go back and get that degree. I need to go back and finish that. And so in my 40s, I went back and got my undergrad degree. Also took a Harvard class online that was a part of a coaching program. that helped me understand why people had an immunity to change. So you remember I tell you that every time we look at purpose, there's this umbrella, but under the umbrella, you may wear different hats. So I was a news anchor, I was an entertainment host, I was a consultant for ministries, and I became a coach, all under the same banner of empower, inspire, entertain, and inform people in original ways, all under that one umbrella, right? And I believe we're all on assignment. I believe you have an assignment. I believe you're supposed to do something. There's tools in you that give you the ability to shape things and situations in a way that nobody else can. You can have impact in situations and circumstances in a way that nobody else can. And having worked with, in my life, some of the greatest, thought leaders and folks of all time, you talk about Oprah, she certainly knew how to build her dream. You talk about Zig Ziglar, one of the great thought leaders of our time. If you've never read anything by Zig Ziglar, you need to go read and catch up. But I started working with them, and I confirmed along the way that there was something happening that allowed certain people to bloom and rise. Like, how did Oprah become Oprah? How did Zig become Zig? How did they find satisfaction, contentment, fulfillment, and comfort? How did they make that happen? Right? Do you all ever ask that question? Like, I'm working hard, I'm on the grind, I'm doing this and that. Hey, Sharon, but why am I not getting the results I feel like I should get? I really believe it's about our big fat why. Yeah. So they found satisfaction, contentment, comfort, and fulfillment. And this is out of my book, what you're looking at right now, From Dream to Reality. But that's what we're trying to do. We are trying to find this space where what we love to do and what the world needs intersects with what we're good at and what you can get paid for. And that's how you find passion and mission and profession and vocation. And right up in the middle of that is your purpose, right? But let's talk about for a second some companies and things that like I'm the kind of person I wonder, like, how did Apple become the computer innovator dominator? They were just another computer company. How did, for instance, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who was just a regular preacher, how did he become like the civil rights hero of an era? There's a science of it. And you all each have your own individual purpose, and you can become that of your niche, that of your gifting. But what's the science of it? And I'm going to tell you, when I explain it to you, you're going to go, okay, I get it. It's so simple that even a 14-year-old can get it. I want you to take a look at this young man right here. His name is Hart Main. He's not 14 anymore. He's probably 20 now. But check this out. He came up with an idea for a manly scented candle because he was teasing his sisters about, they were selling, like, for a school fundraiser. You know how your kids sell candles and stuff like that. Hey, Kenny. Yes, one of the most important questions. What is my purpose? And the day that you find that out, that's the kicker. So he was teasing his sisters about, these girly, frilly scented candles that they were selling for their fundraiser. And she didn't expect it, but he decided, I'm going to make manly scented candles. And so he had an initial investment of $100. His parents kicked in $200, and they worked together as a family, and they created the Man Can. That's what you see there, the Man Can candle. And so they developed the sense of campfire, bacon. Can you imagine a candle that smells like bacon? Bacon, sawdust, fresh cut grass. You see it there, grandpa's pipe. And now they're in probably more than 60 stores. Because like I said, this is about 4 years old. They've sold over 9,000 units. And it's much more than that, because let me show you something. Man Can is still doing the doggone thing. I looked them up to see what they're doing now. Check this out. You see what Mancan is selling for? $22.99. $22.99. So you think about markup, you think about what it costs maybe for them to make that. It's a tin can with candle stuff in it, maybe $2 or $3, right? Then you got to kick off some to the side for your distributors. But this all came out of a 14-year-old's mind that, hey, there's no candles for men. Men don't want to smell lavender or this or that. And this was before, now we understand aromatherapy and all that. But he thought, I wonder if, and so he had a big fat why. Now, is it a big fat why that's going to change the whole entire world? No, probably not. But it was a big fat why that helped him shape an idea and take it from dream to reality. What are the big fat ideas you have? What are the ideas you've been sitting on for years? What are the things that you've been mulling over and, one day I'm gonna, what are those things? What are those thoughts? Have you taken the time to start thinking about what your big fat why is? Because I'm telling you, whether it's your brand, whether it's a relationship, whatever it is, the reason it hasn't exploded is because you don't know your big fat why yet. You haven't gotten there. And until you do, I'm going to tell you, this is going to be the thing that affects every area of your life. Why are you in that relationship? Why are you going back to school? Why are you working that job? Right? Let me get back to where we were. Okay. Why? Your big fat why. It's all about your big fat why. So as I continued kind of studying this, because I knew that there was something to it, having worked with Oprah, having worked with the Zig Ziglars, they understood this. And I latched on to Simon Sinek because he started a study on why. And what he found was all great leaders, they think, they act, and they communicate in the same way. And it happens to be the opposite of the way everybody else does. He labeled it the golden circle. That's what you see right there. So every single organization leads with their what. This is what we do. Every single person that you probably know, what's the question you ask? What do you do? What do you do? Right? For those of you that follow me, we did an exercise about this, getting to your why. But most people don't lead with the why. They lead with their what, right? Most people can tell you what they do. And then after they tell you what they do, most people will tell you how they do it, right? And then after they tell you how they do it, then they might get to the why. But what Simon Sinek found was that very few people, and this is about a business model, but I'm telling you, this is about building your dream. Very few people know their why. That's why you can be on a job for 20 years and still not be fulfilled, because you don't know your why. That's why you can be in a relationship and still not be fulfilled, because you don't know your why. Right? So people normally, they start communicating from the outside in. You tell me what you do, you tell me how you do it, and then you tell me what the behavior is that drives it, your why. Instead of, so like if I'm a law firm, I might say, hey, I'm a law firm, like I work for, Dougal and Daigle, and these ads you see. I work for Dougal and Daigle, and we have the most intelligent industry lawyers in our firm, and we graduated from the top schools, and look at our client list, look at all these celebrities and all these people from the Fortune 500. Check out our offices. They're fabulous. They look great. Come do business with our law firm. That's how most people lead, right? The problem is that's not the stuff that inspires. The what and the how doesn't inspire people to take action at all. The facts and the figures. And that's why you're not inspired. those of you who are not inspired in your job, those of you who are having a hard time trying to figure out your purpose, those of you who are stuck, don't know your big fat why. So if we flip this thing around, if we flip this model around, we took the why out to be the last thing that we get to, and we flip it to being the first thing that you get to, then how would we use that same dynamic like the law firm? Let me just ask you, is this tracking so far? Are you tracking? Okay, inspiration. You get it. I know you get it because we've taught it together. Is this tracking? Are you all following me so far? Why the why is more important than the how and the what? The why is so much more important than the how and the what. If this is tracking for you, give me a yes, yes. Or let me see something. Signs of life. I see you in Periscope. Give me some hearts. Tap about. YouTube, throw up a comment. Let me see. Caitlin says, yep. Absolutely. It's the foundation. Just a yes, yes. Thank you, Caitlin. Let me know that you're tracking because I don't want to move forward if I need to go back a little bit. Think about it. Most of the time, you can tell me what you do. You can tell me how you do it, but your why, I see you, Leola, your why. And then let's not even get to the place where your why might just be because I got to pay my bills. Because that's real, but then we got to talk about how does that why become your sponsor and not your shackles? Because there might be some jobs that you do and they will absolutely be maybe not the jobs that you want to end up in forever, but they'll be your sponsor for a season, right? And so what Simon did was he kept looking at it. So let's go back to our example of the law firm. So if you take that example that I used, they led with what they do. If we go back and we said, maybe they would start with, we believe in surfacing the needs of other people so we can focus on the differences they need to make. We service the needs of other people so that they can live their, most fulfilled life. Like, really, how do you do that? Right? It makes you ask how. So even when I'm talking to you about the t-shirts, I said, I wanted to support people who are out there on the front lines. Really, how do you do that? Well, I created and designed this t-shirt. Right? Lead with your why. Lead with your why. So when we do that, it actually lines up. This is what Simon's research found. It lines up with how our brain is actually made. It literally taps into the part of the brain that influences our behavior. So you see the picture there. Let me make it a little bit bigger for you, right? So when you look at these kind of tenets of biology, imagine that's a cross section of a human brain, right? And it perfectly correlates, you see, with the three major components of the golden circle. So you got the middle two sections, which are the how and the why, and that makes up the limbic part of the brain. And that's responsible for our feelings, trust and loyalty. All of those things are housed in there. And it's also responsible for human behavior, like your decision making. But it has no capacity for language. So you have to communicate from the inside out to speak directly to the part of the brain that controls those areas of emotions, behavior, and decision making. It understands the big fat why. So that's why you might have a disconnect figuring out your purpose. Because you don't know your why. You can do all the exercises and listen, those of you who I've seen have signed up for the course but not yet started, I'm going to tell you why you haven't started. You can say it's time, or you can say, I was going to wait on, and that's fine. But when you know your why, you can't wait to get started. When you know your why, you cannot wait. We can't keep you from it. When you know your why, you get up every day ready to jump and go. And that's the part we got to work on. The clarity of your big fat why. Because that will lead you into the discipline of how you make it happen. And when you have the discipline of how to make it happen, then you're more apt to flow into the consistency of doing what it takes every day to make it happen. Your clarity of why, your discipline of how, and your consistency of what. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. That's why an ordinary preacher could become a civil rights hero, because he had the clarity of his why. The clarity of his why. That's why Apple remains an innovator to this day, because they know their why. They only want to be, they are focused on user friendliness and innovation. They know their why. Think about other things like when Dell, the company Dell, started putting out iPods or, music devices and things like that. And we were like, why are you doing that? They were just trying to get in the game because everybody else was making money in the game. And they failed. What's your why? What is your big fat why? What is it? Do you know your big fat why? That's the question that I have for you today. What's your big fat why? And then I'm going to give you some misconceptions, because I know there's some things that can keep us from really understanding and getting to our big fat why. But I'm just wondering if you know your big fat why. Hey, Susan, for what you do and why you do it. I know it's one of these silent sessions. Hey, Periscopers. But I need to know, I need to hear. Do you know your why? Why do you do what you do? You all already know. I told you every day I get up, I have a job that I love, that is a full-time job with full-time responsibilities, that I give full-time effort. And I still come and do these broadcasts every morning, 10 a.m., Thursdays at 1 p.m. I prepare, I work, I try to figure out what you need. I pray about it, and I listen to God, work through it, because I'm supposed to empower, inspire, entertain, and inform people in original ways. That's what I'm built to do. And so every day I show up. That's my why. Now, you don't have to have an acronym. And if you're thinking about it now, I want you to continue to marinate, because you're not going to move further into what it is you're born to do, even if you're on the right track, if you don't fully grasp and understand your why. Now, here's some misconceptions about building your dream, because your dream has to sit on your why. Otherwise, you're just leading with your what. And you could find that, I was just doing this because I thought this was what I was supposed to do, or this is what my parents told me that I was supposed to do, or this is what my family expected me to do, or this is what my spouse thought I should do, or this is what society tells me I should do, or this, whatever it is, or I need a paycheck. And so I started out doing this job for the paycheck, and then I just forgot about my why. And so I'm still here on the same job 20 years later. You don't want that to be you. Sue says, I do my job to help young high school students discover their creative why. I write to entertain through storytelling. That's it. Bip, bap, boop. There's your why. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay? Do you know your why? Now, while you all are thinking about that, because I want to see it. I want to see your why. And if you're not sure and you want to come on and let's talk about it, let's talk about it. Because that's why I'm here. Now, the link for the course and the book are in the header. So I'm not going to teach you the book and teach you the course when you can get it, right? You can get this right now. And I'm actually teaching the course online. So you have me online and I can do it. But I'm here to help you with the ancillary things, the parallel things that will help you get success with that, right? So let's talk about some of the misconceptions. Some people think that dreams are logical and realistic. Not always. Your dream wrapped in purpose is not always logical to everyone, especially you and others. It's not always going to make logical sense. So don't wait for that. Thank you for helping me reaffirm my connection to my why and who I am. Yeah, absolutely. That's the candle you got to keep burning, right? Your dreams are not always logical and realistic. In the book, I tell you that sometimes they'll stretch the boundaries of what you believe possible for yourself. That makes it seem illogical. There's a gentleman I knew named Keith Harrell. He was a tall, skinny, awkward kid, and he overcame his stuttering to become an internationally revered motivational speaker and leader for all of corporate America. It didn't seem logical that a stuttering little kid would become an international motivating speaker. I see you, Sue. I'll mention that in a second. It didn't happen like that, right? And I appreciate you doing that, Sue. It didn't happen that dot was instantly connected for him, but he walked it out. He walked out because that purpose, that big fat why, wouldn't let him go. And so he became an international speaker. Every dream will test your level of faith. It'll be something you can't achieve in your own strength and will probably have aspects to it that make no logical sense to you, though it makes complete sense in the big picture. Most people are overwhelmed by the thought of their dream that it would be called unrealistic. So you have to relax and know that you are right where you're supposed to be. Your dream will not always make logical sense to you. Here's another misconception, that dreams unfold on their own. Though it's a dream, you have to wake up. You have to wake up to make it come true. You start by finding your big fat why. Fulfilling it is a process that requires your avid pursuit. That means you got to get up getting it every day. You can't take a wait and see approach because that'll only leave you sitting around looking. Right? So if I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and I decide I want to go visit my mother in Florida, I can't take the road that's going to lead me to New York and expect to be magically transported there. I have to actually get in the car, make the journey, take the right route, right? Your dreams aren't going to unfold on your own. Another misconception, that divinely inspired dreams will unfold without you having to make decisions. They come with some sort of step-by-step guide. Now, this might sound like number two, but it's different in that people go, I know this is what God told me to do. So we think as soon as if God told you this is your dream, this is your purpose, then God's going to work it out. No. You still have to show up. You still have to show up, right? You still have to show up. This is something that I learned firsthand from interviewing a bazillion thought leaders and influential icons. How does it show up until you commit? You have to commit. You have to commit to the dream and embrace it in your heart. Once you begin formulating your action plan and you begin walking it out, then the next piece of the puzzle will show up for you. And then the next piece of the puzzle. And that's how your how develops. It's by the sweat equity you put into it. To follow, to learn, to research, take a step. And then the next thing you should do. And then the next thing comes. And it'll never just fall into your lap. It doesn't. Even if God told you, you're supposed to be this, or you're supposed to do that, or you're supposed to, whatever that is, he still expects you to do the pursuing to work it out, right? Another misconception is that dreams are designed to serve your own personal needs, wants, and desires. Now, they can support that, but they're not driven by your own personal wants and desires, not all the time. Because low-key real, My want sometimes is to stay in bed later. My low key want is to veg out and not necessarily after I've done, an 8 to 12-hour day for my job, and I do my clients. It might not be to do another thing, but I'm driven by the passion of what I provide. And that is what keeps me motivated, right? So your fulfillment will come when you're living out what you're passionate about. That's where the fulfillment comes. You remember that graph I showed you? That's where your fulfillment comes. It's about you being in service to others with a focus on contributing to your community and your world by sharing your gift. Remember, you have an assignment. When you were born, it was bloop, dropped on the inside of you that you would be able to do this one unique thing better than anybody else could. And we're always efforting to get you to that place. The other misconceptions is that all of our dreams are attached to stardom. And that's not true. That's not true. Well, I'll say yes and no. Yes and no. When you're opening yourself and operating fully in your gifts and talents, you will shine. You absolutely will shine. Your stage is going to be wherever you're meant and called to do your work in your immediate world. Some people have a purpose that will place them on the world stage, and that doesn't mean that they're any better or than anybody else. It doesn't take away from anybody else's vocation or anybody else's dream. But in truth, many people who absolutely deserve a star on the Walk of Fame in Hollywood probably won't ever get it because they are the mothers, the fathers, the teachers, the leaders, right? The light bearers in this world, the volunteers who are diligently out there in the trenches, making this world a better place to live. And they're doing it behind the scenes. So yes and no, you'll be a superstar in your own right, but you may not be on the big screen. And that's why I feel like, this whole social media wave of, people trying to be famous just to be famous. What's their why? To be famous. Well, then that's why you'll only be famous for like a week, right? Basically, I'm looking at it as your assignment dreams are to help God's kingdom. Absolutely. You're serving people. You have an assignment. We talk about this all the time. I'm not built to be a brain surgeon. I don't want to pick up a saw and saw open somebody's skull and look inside their head. I would pass out forever. But somebody else out there is built for that. They're built to do that. It was sprinkled into their DNA when they were formed, that they would have curiosity about that would lead them to study science, that would lead them to understand things and our neurological system and all sorts of things in a way that we aren't built to. But likewise, there's something that you understand and you see and you get the mechanics of better than anybody else. And that's why you got to operate in that place. I had a message. Somebody messaged me in from Facebook that says, "You're on point. What you're discussing this morning has been on the forefront of my mind for the last few years, and especially the last few weeks, running into a month or so. One of the most common human traits we all share is the need to feel we have purpose." Absolutely. 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 So don't worry about the stardom thing. Don't get caught up in this thing about being famous to be famous. That there's nothing about that even matters. Do it for your big fat why. Misconception, you're not qualified to pursue your dream. We ran into that roadblock on here several times. And that we took a whole detour and started talking about self-worth, self-love, self-care, self-advocacy, self-empowerment, that believing in yourself, right? That's a misconception that you're not qualified. So what I share in my book is that nobody ever feels fully qualified. I didn't feel fully qualified when I started doing every step of my journey. Preparation is really what the journey is all about, right? So you can be assured that the bigger your dream is, the more challenging the journey is going to get, right? The bigger The bigger the ticket, the higher the cost. The challenges create opportunities, though, for you to sharpen your tools and fine-tune your skills along the way. I have often dreamt of having a positive and powerful influence in people's lives and see myself speaking in front of crowds, not as an entertainment host, not as a news anchor, but just for the things that I could impart out of my coaching and out of positive psychology. And that's when I developed my EIEIO philosophy that I keep telling you all about, the empower, inspire, entertain, and inform people in original ways. But in the beginning, I wasn't sure how that would come to manifest, right? It didn't make sense for my life because I had spent over 30 years in news and entertainment. And I was hired for speaking engagements and motivational coaching stuff, but it didn't have the big fat why. Now my big fat why I understand is to help people push past stuck. So that gives me another level of connection to people, right? And so for the longest time, let me tell you how it started out for me, because maybe this will help some of you. My journey to doing this and being with you all would be, I would be in the newsroom and I would just send out quotes. I don't know if you remember this, Sue. I would send out quotes every day. Just, you know how we do memes of quotes, inspirational quotes? I would just send out quotes every day. In fact, let me show y'all something. This book. Wow. This book, A Gift for the Advanced Soul. I had this book. Sue, I had this book. This is over 30 years now when I was still in news. I wanted to inspire people. Hey, Steve. I wanted to inspire people. And so I was doing news, right? And so I would see all these sticky notes. I don't know, there's so much light. See all the sticky notes? Those are the sticky notes because I would mark which ones I already shared so I wouldn't keep sending them out to my coworkers, right? So like, here's a quote. Your questions, what does it say? Whoa, wrong way. Okay. Your questions indicate the depth of your belief. Look at the depth of your questions. I would just email that out. And that's how I fulfilled at that point in the journey, my desire to help. I'm about to cry because I don't know if you all understand what I share with you. Love is letting go of fear. I don't know if you all understand that what I'm sharing with you, hey, Pam, good to see you, sweetie, is nothing I have not done myself. I remember your books. It's nothing I haven't done myself. Me trying to help you get to your dream and to get to your next level, these exercises, this stuff is not because I'm going to make up something. This is what I did. This is what I do. This is what I'm still doing. I went from sharing. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to become. Nobody was talking about coaching 30 years ago, 40 years ago. Well, not 40 years ago, because then I would have been just like 15. But nobody was talking about coaching 30, 35 years ago. So all I needed to do was share the inspiration that I could find around me. And one thing led to the next thing, led to the next thing, led to the next thing, led to the next thing. That was my why. This was my why, right? Ms. Helen says, I babysit for granddaughters. In doing so, they don't pay me. The reason I want them to learn how to better save more for them and their children's future. And here's another part of that why, Ms. Helen. Think about what you can impart into your granddaughters that they can't get from their mom. I'm sure their mom is excellent. I'm sure that their parental figures are excellent. But there's things that you know, the lessons you're learning even now that you can help them with. The things that you're learning about how to push pause. The things you're learning about how to look inside yourself and ask questions about why am I doing the things that I do? And learning about other people and giving patience and do all of those lessons. You have their undivided attention in a way that nobody else will have. So while they're learning how to save money and save, you have those babies, you have those children. So now God may have given them to you so that in this time, you can pour more things into them than you ever would have had we not been in a pandemic or anything else. I want you to think about that, Miss Helen, because I know you, and I know you to be a woman of a lot of knowledge, and you are so transparent about what you learn for yourself. And I can see how powerful that would be to pass it on to young women. Your why is a great gift to all. Thank you. Thank you. Praise him. Yay. You've been on this journey a long time. Every step has led you here. Absolutely. And the same with all of us. Every step we take leads us here. So never believe that you're not qualified for your dream. You do the part you know to do while you do it. I was just giving people quotes, inspirational quotes. Now look. Okay? So never, ever doubt what you feel on the inside of you to do. Never doubt it. Never doubt it. Let me keep moving on for y'all have me crying up in here. Misconception. It's too late to follow your dream. That's another one. People believe, oh, I missed the boat. I missed the boat. It's too late. Maybe if I had moved out on it sooner, but now it's just too late. It's never too late. It is never too late. And I don't know if you all were with me when I shared, I've had different clients and through the years. And, one of the things that has touched me has been people who make their moves over 50 or 60. They start following their dreams. They go back to school, at age 60, or, they decide or figure out that, and no judgment, that the relationship they're in, their why doesn't ring true for a healthy relationship anymore. And they're able to, move out of that into a more healthy life. So your why, your why is everything. Candace said, I've learned a lot from you and grown so much. One thing I've learned to reach back and help other people through the season. Absolutely. See, that's the thing, Candace. We think that I'm not qualified, but there's always somebody behind you that doesn't know as much, right? And so you always have something to give back. You always have something to give back. But this notion of being too late, if purpose is on the inside of you, let me tell you something. If I have a watermelon seed and I sit it on the counter, whether I plant it today or I plant it tomorrow or plant it whatever, it's going to give me a watermelon. I just have to nurture it right. I might have to take care of it a little differently if the elements get to it and damage it somehow, but I can still plant that seed and I can still get a harvest. And it's more so even true with things that are not in the physical realm, things that are in the spirit realm. Your dream is a part of what was planted on the inside of you. It is nurtured, it is covered, it is protected, it's locked away until you start unlocking it. So you don't have to worry about, well, maybe it's too late. Nope. Start following it. How you get there might be different. The level you do it might be different, but I promise you, you will be operating in the purpose that you were naturally created to operate in. You were authentically created to operate in from the very, very beginning. You just will. You just will. So I explained to you the importance of your big fat why. I've explained to you not only the importance of your big fat why, we looked at these misconceptions, right? Now, I need you to do the work. I need you to do the work. So what does that look like? For those of you who have signed up for the course, and Sue says she has one more, she is gifting them. She is gifting the course, the e-course, for those of you who want to take the course and have me lead you. And it's right now, it's $19.99 and she's gifting it. $19.99 on Udemy. All you have to do is inbox her and say, that's me. I won't do it. Okay. and she will sponsor you. She's trying to stir up the dreams in other people and help other people's dreams come true. This is her philanthropic gift. So you inbox her. If you miss it and somebody else beats you to it, it's $19.99. Get on there. Let me help you figure out where you're going to be operating in purpose in this season. Okay. If you say, well, I don't know if I can do, it's an hour of video broken up into 15-minute things, each lesson. You can do a lesson a day. Are you kidding me? A lesson a day. 10 minutes here, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes here. And then you do the work, right? Hey, Jay, I see you on Periscope. What a blessing. Absolutely, Steve. Isn't that awesome? Sue, I think you see your taker there, Miss Candace. Hey, Jay, how are you? Thanks for being on Periscope. Appreciate you. Thanks for saying hi, so I knew you were there. For those of you, I just want to work the book. I don't need video. I don't need a coaching, helping me. $9.99. Go get the book, $9.99. Right? But we got to move forward in this area of purpose. And if you feel like, okay, I already know my purpose, I'm already operating in my purpose, but I'm not driven by it, like the passion isn't there, the contentment isn't there, all of those things that we talked about. If you can't find signs of life and you know that you're operating in your purpose, then we got to go back and look at, why am I not satisfied? Why am I not in a place of comfort? Why am I not in a place of contentment and fulfillment? Because all of these things should be in place. Yes, I see you, Miss Pamela. I know. I'm ready for you all to get started. Get started. Your why will help you get started. Why are you doing it? Jeanette has inspired and supported me through her friendship over 30 years. It's my turn to give back. That's a blessing. I just love you, Susu. It's time to get started. Let's get started, Pam. Candace, read what she said. Message her. Did you message her? She's telling you what she needs to make that happen for you. So do what you need to do. Need the book now. We'll get it today. When you go on, Pam, when you go online, there's a book, a yellow book that's made for the course. You can do that one or you can do this one. Either they have some of the similar things, but the yellow one is made specifically for the course. Okay. But you don't have to have it if you don't want to. It has downloadable PDFs. So you can get started today. For Candace, I'm so proud of you. You've grown so much. I love you. Yes, she has. And so have you. And so have you. So have you. For the rest of you, it's about your big fat why. I want you to figure that out. Because at the end of the day, there's no reason to not live in contentment. There's no reason not to live in fulfillment. There's no reason. And if all it takes is you figuring out your big fat why, then let's get to it. Then let's get to it. Okay? All right? Yes, yes? Yes, yes? Time to roll it. Time to roll with it. Come on there, Steve. Okay. Well, both of them are on there. The link is in the header of this video. So when you go, you'll see what I'm saying. There's this book, and then there's this book, and then there's the book that I wrote to go with the course. So you'll see when you go on there. It's time to roll with it. I love that. Time to roll with it. All right. So we're either working in the course, we're either working on our big fat why, just trying to figure out why we're doing what we're doing. But everybody's got work to do. Yes, yes. I see you, Doc. Yes, yes. I'm looking. Yes, yes. Yes, yes. Our why reminds me of actors locating their motivation and their drive. Absolutely. And having done some regional theater, I can speak to that too. Yeah, Jay, because that's the difference between a convincing performance and somebody that just set the lines and hit all their marks. And, no. The why is what brings the life out of it. The why is what can convince you to get your business off the ground. Your why is why people will support your product or service. Your why your why. Your why. And it doesn't matter. Jay says, yes, it doesn't matter whether you're an actor, an entrepreneur, whether you're a stay-at-home mom. It doesn't matter. Your why. I've been in and consulted so many companies, and I get so discouraged sometimes because people are given a task to do and they kind of get it done, but there's no there. You know what I mean? There's no heart in there. Like, when you have a why and you're passionate about it, that's when you change your immediate world and then the world around us. Your why. So I hope you've been inspired to go figure out your big fat why. Go figure it out. I see you, Pam. A little slow, but there. I know. All good. All good. Thank you. Thank you, Periscope, for tapping out the hearts. I love it when you kiss my cheeks with the hearts. Thank you to those of you who have joined me on here today and just been honest. And I know, I get it. It's one of those silent sessions because it makes you think. Those are the best ones. And we'll come back and we'll have fun and we'll do things and we'll do all of that too. But just remember, if you want to be one of the people who did the work and found their purpose, that did their work and moved from not knowing what the future would hold into whatever the PhD is for your life. There's no difference between these people and you. There's absolutely no difference between these people and you. Yep, you have? Then all right. Once you know your why, then we just do more of that. And then we just ask, what more can I do in that why? What more can I do? Can I help somebody else find their why? Steve, sacrifice one meal this week and apply that $20 towards your future. If you don't have it, ask $5 for your friend. He's like, if you want to make it happen, you can make it happen. If you want to make it happen, you can make it happen. Now, what I'm going to do is I've already gifted 15 books. But what I will do is, outside of Candace, if you sign up for a course, I will gift you one of my I Will Breathe shirts. Okay? For those, if you sign up for the course today, if I go on there, the first person that I see that signs up that I know is from the tribe, I'll gift you one of these I Will Breathe shirts. And for those of you who are interested in supporting the National Fund to help bail out peaceful protesters, I've just put the link out there for this shirt that I designed. I will breathe for those who couldn't. Because here's the thing. I understand the sentiment behind making sure people heard I can't breathe. But now that they're aware, what I need them to know is we, Empowerment Tribe, we will breathe. Because we will breathe and we will operate in purpose and we will live out our unique design, our unique assignment on this planet. We will change the world by helping empower other people. We will breathe. We will. And that is the legacy we'll carry on for those who couldn't. All right. So there you go. Love you all to life. Thank you so much for spending time. Tomorrow, we're going to have another great broadcast. Our Devo, our Devotional 2.0. I have a guest coming on, Miss Pamela Gray. We're going to talk about oneness, the importance of oneness. And for those of you who are new to me, I'm on every morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Monday is Monday Mindset. Tuesday, that's this one, we do Living in Purpose, where we're trying to make sure people are committed to finding their purpose. Wednesdays, we do our Release Devotional 2.0. Thursdays, the interview segment. It says 10 a.m. on there, but y'all know it's 1 p.m. I got to change that. 1 p.m., and then we do live coaching on Fridays. So love you all to life. Thank you so much for everything that you do and for everything that you pour out for others and everything you're trying to do to live your best life so you can make better decisions for better living. Don't be afraid. Just get out there and do it. Don't be afraid. Just get out there and do it. Need to rewatch what I missed. Okay. That's what the replays are for. And replay viewers, I love you all to life. You are better than butter because you guys really you go hard, like it's live, and you do the exercises and everything. And I go back and I watch all of that. So don't think any of this is wasted. I will go back and I will, talk with you and give you input and feedback too. All right. I love you all. Like, take good care.
This is the year you're going to make the shift. Reposition. Dig in. Create more happiness. Experience more freedom. Live with more purpose. Dream, believe, build. Enroll now in the unique online course designed to equip you with the tools for transformation. This is the year.